We've all had that moment on a plane. You're sitting there, tray table up, seatbelt clicked, and suddenly the aircraft gives a little bump. Your stomach drops. Your hands grip the armrest like it's a lifeline. And deep down, you think, this is it. This is how it ends. But what if I told you that almost everything you fear about flying, from turbulence to engines failing, from oxygen masks to open doors, is based on myths, outdated stories, Hollywood nonsense, and some good old-fashioned misunderstandings? Today, we're not just going to peek behind the curtain of commercial aviation. We're tearing it down completely. We're busting the biggest airplane myths you probably still believe, and revealing the jaw-dropping air travel facts that will change how you see flying forever. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around to the end, because myth number 7 involves tomato juice, altitude, and your taste buds. And it's way cooler than you think. Myth number 1. Turbulence is a sign. The plane is in danger. Let's start with the myth that causes the most sweaty palms. Turbulence. That gut-twisting, coffee-spilling moment when the plane shakes and your heart rate triples. It feels like the wings are about to snap off, right? Wrong. Modern airplane wings are engineering marvels. They're designed to flex. Not just a little, but a lot. We're talking about bending up to 5 meters up and 5 meters down without a single crack. That's like a bird stretching its wings mid-flight. Pilots, the people who know turbulence best, have a nickname for it. Potholes in the sky. Just like hitting a bump in your car, it's annoying, sure. But dangerous? Not at all. Planes are built to handle way more stress than even the worst turbulence can throw at them. So the next time the seatbelt light dings and the plane starts dancing a little, don't picture a disaster movie. Picture a bumpy road. Inconvenient, but harmless. Myth number 2. If the engines fail, you're doomed. This is the one that fuels nightmares. Both engines fail, the noise stops, and you imagine the plane dropping like a rock. But here's the reality. Every commercial airliner is basically a massive high-tech glider. If a Boeing 747 loses all engine power at cruising altitude, around 30,000 feet, it can still glide for about 100 miles. That's plenty of time for pilots to communicate, troubleshoot, and find a safe place to land. And don't worry, pilots don't just wing it in that scenario. They train for engine failures in simulators every 6 months, both single and dual. It's second nature to them. The plane is still flying, just quieter. And in most cases, the landing is controlled, calm, and completely survivable. Myth number 3. Oxygen masks are just for show. You've seen the demo 1,000 times, but most people don't take it seriously. Those little masks can't really help, can they? Oh, they absolutely can. At cruising altitude, oxygen levels are much lower than at ground level. If cabin pressure drops suddenly, you have about 20 to 30 seconds of useful consciousness before your brain starts to shut down. Those masks aren't placebo props. They deliver a carefully balanced mix of oxygen and cabin air that keeps your brain sharp while the pilots descend the plane to a safer altitude. So if they ever drop, don't hesitate. Strap it on, breathe deeply, and let the pros handle the rest. Myth number 4. You can open the door. Mid-flight. We've all seen the movie scene. Someone yanks open the cabin door at 35,000 feet, and chaos erupts. But here's the truth. You physically cannot open that door in flight. The pressure difference between the inside of the cabin and the outside atmosphere is massive. Roughly 8 tons of force holding the door shut. That's like trying to open a car door with an elephant sitting on it. Any incident of explosive decompression you've heard about was due to structural failure, not someone fiddling with a handle. So relax. That door isn't going anywhere until the plane is safely on the ground. Myth number 5. Your phone could crash the plane. Ah yes, the classic pre-flight announcement. Please turn your devices to airplane mode. And for years, people thought it was because their phones could mess with the plane's systems. The truth? Modern avionics are so shielded, they're practically superhero-level resistant to interference. The real reason for airplane mode is about attention and communication. During takeoff and landing, the most critical phases of flight, the crew needs you focused, not buried in Candy Crush. And while a plane full of active phones might create some minor radio noise, it's unlikely to cause real issues. So when the crew asks you to pause TikTok, it's about safety and courtesy, not imminent doom. Quick pit stop here. If you're enjoying these busted airplane myths, hit that subscribe button. It helps us reach more nervous flyers and spread real air travel facts that make your next flight feel like a breeze. Myth number 6. Lightning strikes are catastrophic. A flash outside the window, a boom that rattles the cabin. It's enough to send your imagination spiraling. But lightning strikes on planes are surprisingly common. In fact, the average airliner is hit about once a year, and almost no one on board even notices. That's because planes are basically flying Faraday cages. The electrical charge flows harmlessly over the aircraft's metal skin and exits out the tail. At most, the plane gets a small scorch mark and a routine inspection afterward. Nature's fury, meet human engineering, meet human. Myth number 7, tomato juice. Only tastes good in the air because you're weird. You might ignore tomato juice on the ground, but in the air, suddenly it's delicious. This isn't your imagination, it's science. Airplane cabins are incredibly dry, and the reduced air pressure dulls your sweet and salty taste receptors by about 30%. Tomato juice, however, is loaded with umami, that savory, earthy flavor that doesn't rely on those muted receptors. In fact, altitude enhances those flavors, turning an ordinary drink into something that tastes rich and complex. It's why airlines serve millions of liters of it every year. Who needs a cocktail when altitude turns tomato juice into liquid gold? Myth number 8. Planes are germ-filled metal tubes. You've probably heard people call planes flying petri dishes. But in reality, airplane air is some of the cleanest you'll breathe anywhere. Cabin air is completely refreshed every 2 to 3 minutes, and it passes through hospital-grade HEPA filters that remove 99.97% of airborne particles, including viruses and bacteria. Half the air you breathe is fresh from outside, and the other half is filtered and recirculated. So while washing your hands is always smart, you can breathe easy, knowing the air system is doing heavy-duty cleaning on your behalf. Myth number 9. You get drunk, faster in the air. 1 drink in the sky is like 2 on the ground. That's the popular saying, but it's not quite true. Your body processes alcohol at altitude the same way it does on Earth. What changes is how you feel it. The dry air dehydrates you faster. Sitting still makes you more sluggish. And the slight pressure difference can make alcohol seem stronger. So yes, you feel tipsier, but the chemistry hasn't changed. The solution? Hydrate before, during, and after your flight. Water is your best friend at 35,000 feet. Myth number 10. Small planes are unsafe. Many people say they'd never board a small plane because they crash all the time. But that's a perception problem, not a reality. Smaller commercial aircraft are held to the exact same maintenance standards as jumbo jets. Every component, every system, every pilot meets strict safety requirements. They might feel bumpier because they fly lower and encounter more turbulence. But statistically, flying, even in a smaller aircraft, is still far safer than driving. The size of the plane doesn't determine its safety. Training, engineering, and strict regulations do. Myth number 11. Autopilot flies the plane without human help. Some people think pilots hit a button and the plane flies itself while they take a nap. Not even close. Autopilot is like cruise control. It handles routine flight paths, but pilots are constantly monitoring systems, communicating with air traffic control, and ready to take control in an instant. Takeoffs and landings? Always done by humans. Unexpected weather, emergencies, reroutes, all handled by humans. Autopilot is an incredible tool, but it's not a substitute for the skill and decision-making of a trained pilot. So, the next time that seatbelt sign chimes or the plane shakes a little, remember this. Turbulence is just a bumpy road. Engines can glide for miles. Oxygen masks save lives, and no one's opening that door mid-flight. Your phone isn't crashing the plane. Lightning is routine. Tomato juice tastes amazing for a reason, and the air you're breathing is cleaner than your living room. Booze works the same way. Small planes are tough and safe, and autopilot still needs a human hand. If this video made you feel even a little more confident about flying, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment with the myth you believed most, and share this with someone who's terrified of air travel. Because when it comes to flying, knowledge isn't just power. It's peace of mind at 35,000 feet.